A $60,000 raise landed in your account yesterday. You felt that dopamine hit, finally financial breathing room. But here's what the data shows. By next year, you'll feel exactly as broke as you did before the raise landed, maybe even broker. This isn't a personal failure. This is lifestyle creep, and it's one of the most predictable wealth destroyers in modern finance. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the exact Federal Reserve data and peer-reviewed studies that explain this paradox. I'll show you why your six-figure salary may actually be costing you wealth instead of building it. By the end of this video, you'll understand the one spending category that expands first when income rises. And more importantly, I'll give you the single low-friction system that stops lifestyle creep before the damage compounds to $500,000 over your career. This matters right now because peak earning years are limited. The average person has maybe 35 productive years. You might have 15-20 really high-earning years. Waste those, and no amount of late career recovery fixes it. Let's start with the data. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Consumer Affairs tracked 10,000 households over 5 years. The researchers found something startling. When household income increased by 20%, discretionary spending increased by an average of 23% within the first year. That's not matching your raise, that's exceeding it. You're spending more than you earned in additional income. But here's where it gets worse. The Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances shows that the median American household making $150,000 plus has virtually the same savings rate as households making $75,000. Both sit around 8-12%. That means someone making double the income is saving the same percentage, which sounds proportional until you realize they should theoretically have way more cushion to save. Instead, their expenses consume that entire premium. Let's walk through a real case study. Meet Sarah, a software engineer at a mid-sized tech company making $110,000 base. She gets promoted. New title, new responsibility, new salary, $170,000. That's a $60,000 annual raise. After taxes, let's assume 35% effective rate, she nets about $39,000 more per year. Month 1, she moves to a nicer apartment. The new place is in a better neighborhood, has a gym, feels like what a senior engineer should live in. Rent goes from $1,400 to $2,100. That's $700/month or $8,400 per year. Still within her raise, right? Month 2, her old car feels embarrassing next to her colleagues' cars. She finances a used Tesla. Payment is $450/month, $5,400 per year. She tells herself it's an investment in her commute time and comfort. Month 3, new wardrobe. Professional appearances matter more in her new role. She spends $200 here, $300 there. By month's end, she spent $1,500 on clothes. She budgets $1,000/month going forward, $12,000 per year. Month 4, restaurants and social spending. She's now at a different income level, her friends are different, and there's an unspoken expectation about which restaurants you eat at. What used to be $200/month in dining out becomes $500/month, $3,600 per year increase. Month 5, vacations. A nice vacation now feels reasonable. She takes 2 per year instead of 1, costing an extra $4,000 annually. Let's tally it. Apartment $8,400 plus car payment $5,400 plus clothes $12,000 plus dining $3,600 plus vacations $4,000 equals $33,400 in new annual spending. Her net raise was $39,000. She has $5,600 left, less than 15% of her raise going to actual savings or wealth building. But Sarah's story gets worse. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that lifestyle creep doesn't stop at first-level increases. Sarah will likely receive another raise in 3 years, and guess what happens? The cycle repeats. Her new baseline becomes the reference point. The apartment feels normal now. The car is standard. She upgrades again. She increases dining by another $100/month. Each raise less and less actually touches her net worth. This is the insidious part that most financial advice misses. Lifestyle creep is exponential, not linear. It's not just the first raise, it's how raises compound with creep over time. Now let me address the counter-argument because I know some of you are thinking it, but quality of life matters. You can't live like you make $50,000 forever. I agree completely. There's absolutely a place for enjoying increased income. The research I'm about to cite shows the sweet spot. A 2010 study from Princeton University, analyzed by Daniel Kahneman, found that life satisfaction increases with income up to about $75,000 per year, adjusted for inflation, roughly $120,000 today. Beyond that, the happiness gains flatten dramatically. Each additional $10,000 gives you less and less additional life satisfaction. So yes, upgrade your apartment from a terrible one to a decent one. Do it. But the upgrade from decent to luxury has the same cost but radically diminishing happiness returns. Here's the counter argument though. What if you genuinely need those nicer things for your career? What if appearing successful is part of being successful? There's actually research on this too. A study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that status signaling through consumption helps primarily with peer groups who already care about status. Among actual decision makers and people who matter, competence matters infinitely more than the car you drive. But let's move past theory and talk about the actual system that stops this. The solution has three parts, and it requires understanding something about human psychology. Willpower is limited, but automation is infinite. Part 1. Automate your savings before you see the money. This is critical. When Sarah's raise hit, she should have immediately set up an automatic transfer of at least 50% of her net raise to a separate savings account, ideally in a different bank where she can't easily access it. That $19,500 goes into a Vanguard index fund in a separate account before she ever touches it. She doesn't see it in her checking account. Psychologically, money that doesn't appear in your available balance doesn't exist. It's not willpower, it's removal of temptation. Part 2. Create a raise allowance. Let her enjoy 30% of the raise without guilt. That's $11,700 per year or $975/month. That's room to improve her life genuinely, but it's a fixed amount. The rule is simple: no new recurring expenses beyond this amount without cutting something else. This addresses the legitimate desire to improve quality of life while capping the damage. Part 3. Track the historical baseline. This is the psychological trick. Every time you get a raise, you write down your current monthly expenses in detail. $2 $100 apartment, $200 gym, $450 car payment, $500 dining, everything. You calculate your current lifestyle cost. Then when the raise hits, any new expenses are added to that baseline explicitly. You're not just increasing from your previous month, you're increasing from a documented baseline. This creates friction. You have to consciously acknowledge, I'm moving my baseline from $5,200 to $5,700. That small friction, that documentation, reduces frivolous increases by 40% according to research on consumption tracking. Let me give you the math on what this actually means over your career. Say you're 30 years old, earning $80,000, and you'll receive 4 raises before retirement at 65. Average raise, $15,000. Without the system, lifestyle creep consumes about 75% of each raise. Over 35 years, that's roughly $450,000 in additional wealth you never built, money that could have been $2 million in an index fund at 8% annual returns. With the system, 50% automated savings, 30% raise allowance, 20% variable buffer, you're saving $7,500 per raise minimum. That's $60,000 directly, which becomes $180,000 invested over time. More importantly, you've broken the psychological pattern. By the time you're 50, lifestyle creep has far less power because you've built the habit of separating raises from spending. Final point: this only works if you get honest about one thing. Your expenses will always rise. That's not failure, that's human nature. But managed growth and unmanaged creep are not the same thing. One is you choosing to improve your life, the other is your life improving you, dragging you along, making you feel perpetually